Mr. Grover Latry. He is the regional manager of Northern Region, and and all my colleagues from Transport Authority, VP from St. Mary High, all our specially invited guests, the media, members of staff from Ministry of Mining, Transport and Mining, sorry. I welcome you here this afternoon in this wonderful weather. Outside is looking green and pretty, and I love this school. It's clean, it's neat, and it's nice. I love it. In 2018, we were assigned a minister, that is Transport Authority, who came with a plan. We call it a 16-point plan to revolutionize the sector, bringing order and discipline through a number of initiatives. This evening, we are, through one of the initiatives, are here to launch what we call, or to introduce to you, our simulator, something that is supposed to assist our drivers and the sector on a whole to prepare the sector for good drivers, drivers they can depend on. And as I say before, this is an initiative from the minister, and through the Corporate Social Responsibility Program, Transport Authority donated 2 simulators to Island Traffic Authority, who this evening has graciously gifted St. Mary High School with one of the simulators. Can we give them a hand? And so, before we go further, I'm going to ask Mr. Grover Latry to breathe a word of prayer, and so that we can show our thanks to God for us being able to do what we do and continue to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Good afternoon, everyone. Let us pray. Almighty and everlasting Father, we come before you this afternoon with thanksgiving and praise. Dear Father, as we hand over this driving simulator to our community, we want to give you thanks for the initiative through our minister and the stakeholders. We want to utilize this technology, dear God, to administer driving examinations to our community and the surroundings. And we just hope that as we go through, dear God, that we retrain our existing drivers and have our drivers, new drivers, come on board in the way that we fashion them in the Transport Authority. Dear Father, as we leave here, let us have the drive to do what is best when we are on the roadways. These and other things we ask as we pray for journeying mercies as we leave to our respective homes. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Latry. He wants me to take off my mask. Okay. Let me sincerely apologize for our Managing Director, Mr. Willard Hilton, who is unavoidably absent. With us, as I said before, is Miss Petrokeen Williams, who will represent our Managing Director by bringing greetings to you. Thank you, Ms. Williams. Welcome.
Master of Ceremonies, Merdina Callum, Honorable Robert Montague, Minister of Transport and Mining, Dr. Maurice Guy, Member of Parliament, Colonel Daniel Price, Director General of the Island Traffic Authority, Mrs. Juliette Sadar, got it right now, Sadar, It's a lovely name, Mrs. Sadar. And like my name, sometimes people get it wrong. All right. Members of the Transport Authority Board, I see Mr. Stewart, Sanford Stewart, one of our directors, colleagues from the Transport Authority, administrative and teaching staff at the St. Mary High School, students, these bright faces that we're seeing today. It is indeed a pleasure for me to be here today to represent the Managing Director of the Transport Authority. The Transport Authority is about partnerships that can facilitate development. We are the regulatory body for public transportation across Jamaica, and a critical part of that is safety on our roads. And so today it is indeed a pleasure to be here in St. Mary as we hand over one of the simulators through the donation to the Island Traffic Authority. I am a country girl. I'm from the neighboring parish of Portland, so I love the rain that's falling right now because, you know, Kingston doesn't have, yes, I'm from the bush, but I love the bush. Kingston doesn't have this fresh, clean air and the greenery that we're seeing in St. Mary. And of course, the bright faces, you know, the bright faces of the students. And I just want to give them a round of applause today because they're why we are here today. Can they just stand? Yes, because they have been through so much with what has been happening with COVID. Come on, give them another round of applause. Thank you. You may be seated. So at the Transport Authority, this donation is very important to us because it will be empowering students in being able to be better drivers when they leave school and enter the roadways. And you know, safety is a major concern every single day. As you go about your business, you're hearing about accidents, and accidents take up a lot of money in terms of what happens in the medical industry and the hospitals right now. So if we can do the preventative thing of getting our students empowered while they are in school to be better drivers, I think we are making a step in the right direction. Additionally, we want to be very gracious and thankful to the Minister of Transport and Mining, who has a vision and a passion that is contagious. He came, and when he came, he said he has a 16-point plan. And Minister agitates for what he needs. He wants to see development, and he brings his agencies along with him. So today we are very excited at the Transport Authority for this monumental occasion, and we are happy that we are out in St. Mary sharing it with the people of St. Mary. So we thank you for this opportunity to partner with you and your community, and we look forward to the continued partnerships that can be birthed from this initiative. Thank you so much and have a good day.
Thank you, Ms. Williams, for that. I'll now call on Colonel Daniel Price, the Director General, Island Traffic Authority, to come with his remarks. Colonel Price.
Thank you so very much. Master of Ceremonies, Honorable Robert Bobby Montague, Minister of Transport and Mining, Ms. Williams, representing Mr. Willard Hilton, Managing Director of Transport Authority. I won't make this mistake, but it is Mrs. Juliet Fraser Sadar, Principal of a most noble institution, St. Mary High School. Honorable Maurice Guy, Member of Parliament for this area. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not going to leave out Mr. Ezekiel Green, who is the Senior Inspector of Motor Vehicle here in St. Mary. Good afternoon to you all, ladies and gentlemen, students. I am responsible for this. Anything that has happened here after this, blame me. Because I am the person who was determined that a simulator should come to St. Mary High School. I am passionate about the level of driving on the road. And I am determined in my capacity to make a change in the quality and standard of driving that you see on the road. This is the first step. If the children are our future, then if we invest in them, then we will see the fruits of our labor. If they learn the road code early enough and understand it and cause it to seep into their system and shift their mindset from the shutter driving, then we will have safer roads. And Mr. Ezekiel Green will not have much to do in terms of testing. The simulator is an excellent piece of tool to cause this to happen. So how good and pleasant it is to be present in the stamping ground of the late Edgar Uriah Cargill, Mr. John Searchwell, Miss Gloria Lacker, Valerie Bedward, Gloria Moncrief, Jackie Pusey, Doreen Small, Courtney Merrylegs Mayer, and Brigadier Errol V. Johnson. These are all iconic figures of this fine institution who have paved the way for such a time as this. Today, the Island Traffic Authority is pleased to be a part of this historic occasion when we once again seek to raise the bar and to take a step closer toward improving the standard of driving on our nation's roads. As I said before, if the children are our future, then we can inculcate in them from this formative juncture the proper use of the road and the proper way to maneuver vehicles on the roads. Then we are on our way to a more orderly society. The presentation of this driving simulator to this institution of learning is a step towards achieving that dream. And it is hoped that full use of this incredible piece of equipment will be made in developing a greater appreciation and knowledge of road code and the use of the road, not just in St. Mary, but all of the island of Jamaica. This could only be made possible through the collaboration, kindness, and commitment to genuine corporate social responsibility on the part of the Transport Authority. We are indeed grateful for their generosity and their belief in our vision, and will forever hold in high esteem this act of kindness. Madam Principal, please accept this incredible piece of equipment from willing and confident hearts. And I do hope that it will be utilized for the greater good of this amazing institution of secondary education. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Colonel. I can't begin to tell you how proud and excited Mistress Sadar is. We've been communicating since last week, and I can tell you she is in her element. And I'm going to ask her to come and give her remarks. Let's have her, Mrs. Sad.
I am not. Master of Ceremonies, Miss Merdino Callum, Transport Authority. You got it right. I am in my element. I am excited. Honorable Robert Montague, CDMP, Minister of Transport and Mining. Ms. Petrokine Dawes, representing Mr. Willard Hilton, Director of Island Traffic Authority. Member of Parliament for Central St. Mary, Dr. Maurice Guy. Director General, Island Traffic Authority, Colonel Daniel Price. Members of the Board of Management, St. Mary High School, Mr. Grover Latry, Northern Regional Manager, Acting Manager of the Transport Authority. Members of the senior administrative staff, Vice Principal Major Christine Wright and Mrs. Elaine King, members of staff, St. Mary High School, members of staff, Ministry of Transport and Mining, members of the Driving Instructions Fraternity in St. Mary, members of the media, students, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, everyone. The idea of a driving simulator is a stimulating one that conjures up images of innovation, creativity, and a feeling of excitement in the mind of the potential user to see just how closely virtual and reality correspond. Well, shall I tell you some of the comments of my female students? There is no gender bias that is intended here. Gentlemen, I sent a message and my female students responded. These are some of the comments. Stunning. Love to see it. They haven't seen it yet. After you've seen it. What a stellar opportunity for our students. Amazing. My male students, I am absolutely certain, are even more eager, but prefer to remain in macho silence. They prefer action over words, right, my male students? Okay. Like my female students, ladies and gentlemen, I am thrilled, and I have to express it verbally. I was very much on campus on Sunday for the delivery and assembling of the driving simulator, and indeed, I would have been here on Christmas Day, if necessary, because the significance of this driving simulator has not escaped me. Why a driving simulator? Designed to give you virtual driving practice. The context of the situation. Too many fatalities on our roads. Many of those who have died were young persons who had not expected much, who had not experienced much of what life has to offer. I can safely conclude, too, that many of the persons involved in road accidents are not sufficiently conversant with the road code. I pause here to share a story that was related to me years ago about someone who was involved in driving lessons. According to the gentleman years ago, he had a driving instructor who had a package, 15 lessons. And after half of the lessons, the student felt that he had mastered the skill of driving. But the driving inspector was adamant, 15 lessons, it's a package. So the student decided to teach the teacher a lesson. One day, he accelerated around a corner so fast that the driving instructor was so frightened. No disrespect to driving instructors right here this afternoon. He was so frightened. And you know what happened next. His driving test was scheduled. This driving simulator will provide the kind of avenue for practice that everybody needs. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, Minister Montague, I am happy that our students can be quite safe on their simulator as they skillfully navigate their vehicle through the virtual space, yet learning the intricacies of driving under any condition, but in a safe environment. One of my dreams was to provide a practical mechanical engineering course for our students, where they could learn about the mechanics of vehicles and get involved in the practical aspects of the repair of motor vehicles. My gentlemen approached me with their proposal concerning such a course. Even though I explored the possibility long and hard, I had to eventually accept. The campus could not accommodate it. Acknowledging that this dream would not be realized, my young gentlemen consoled themselves by creating their auto club 2 years ago. And shortly before COVID started, we planned our auto show. Of course, it never happened. My young gentlemen sitting here today and those at home will be so happy, and the ladies, of course. In conversing with Mr. Moore, I was delighted when he informed me that students can also become involved in international competitions using a driving simulator, and it will soon become a feature of the Olympic Games. Having gotten a brief peek at the simulator's functions, I further inform you, ladies and gentlemen, that teachers can use this driving simulator to teach more than road code. Isn't that wonderful, students? We already know that the simulator can be used to teach physics. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I was instantly struck by the scenery presented. So, Mrs. King, your English teachers can drive the simulator and have their students write a descriptive paragraph using this simulator. Isn't that wonderful? The possibilities of this driving simulator are endless, and the only challenge will be this: how to share it with all who will want to use it. Minister Montague and Island Traffic Authority, thank you for presenting us with this multifaceted learning tool. We will ensure that we play our part in making our world safer through our students and staff, whilst ensuring the device's longevity. Thank you, Colonel Daniel Price. Indeed, I feel that I'm in a hall of fame of St. Mary High School's past students. Thank you for providing St. Mary High with this rare opportunity. Minister Montague, we wish you well as you continue to impact Jamaicans with many initiatives. The fact that you're a past student of St. Mary High, as well as Colonel Daniel Price, makes this moment even more significant. We commend you all, and we thank you as we embark on our stimulating virtual driving journey. Have a good evening, all.
I am beginning to feel jealous now. Yes, so we can see what shared vision can do for our society. I didn't even know that a simulator had so many features, but I'm looking forward to the Olympics. Really, really looking forward to that one. And As I say, I'm sort of jealous because we are surrounded by St. Mary High School past students. And yes, and we are going to have one of our past, I'm saying our past students come to give remark. He was a head boy as well, and that is Dr. Maurice Guy, Member of Parliament.
Thank you very much, Madam Master of Ceremonies, Honorable Minister, past student, not an old student, a past student. Colonel Daniel Price, old student. Ms. Petra Keane Williams and her team from the Transport Authority. I want to recognize our principal, Mrs. Sadar. I also want to recognize the other members from the Transport Authority and the Island Traffic Authority who are here with us this afternoon. Students, parents, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First, I want to thank the Honorable Minister and his team, comprising Colonel Price and the Transport Authority, for making St. Mary High School the first beneficiary of such a driving simulator. I also want to thank the Honorable Minister for the invitation to be part of this ceremony this afternoon, recognizing that I was also a past student of St. Mary High School and the political representative for the area. But indeed, this gesture, Madam Principal spoke about the Olympics, but I want to look at now. We have a situation in Jamaica where we have had over 412 road fatalities last year. A small country, but a significant number of deaths as a result of the road traffic fatalities. And with this driving simulator, it gives not only our students, but those around in the community, the opportunity to be able to master the art of driving and learning the road code before they leave school. It's not like the case when Minister Montague and I and Colonel Price, when they left school, we learned to drive. Students can do that now. And we normally find, the statistics show that older drivers tend to not to do well on the road. So if we can get the younger ones in the program early, as the simulator ought to do, the better it will be for our country. Ms. Williams opened another window or a door when she mentioned about the heavy burden on the health as a consequence of road fatalities. And Minister speaking now as the opposition spokesman on health and wellness. In 2014, a study was commissioned in Jamaica in conjunction with the National Health Fund, the Ministry of Health, UA, Mona Informatics, and others, Jamaica National, where it showed that the direct and indirect cost to the healthcare system as a consequence of road fatalities was $12.6 billion. These are 2014 figures. Can you imagine what they are now? So if we can start here at St. Mary High School in the rural area to equip our students with the ability to be able to master the art of driving, then certainly it will augur well for us as a country. It will reduce the burden on the health sector. It will reduce the number of lives lost on the road. And interestingly, will give our young drivers a good handle as to the road code. There are many of our drivers who drive out there don't know what the road code is. A man overtake you or him come and see a pothole in the road and swing to your side. And you ask him, what are you doing over here? He said, boss, see the pothole over there, sir. Right? Not recognizing that he has the duty to go through the pothole because he's on his side of the road. I want at this stage also to make mention of someone who has had, and I don't know if this decision influenced it, but we have had discussions over a number of months, Minister. And I want to mention a particular teacher at the school who sees the holistic development of students at St. Mary High School, and in fact in the teaching profession, as one of the things that we should aspire for at the school. Nick, I want to commend you for the discussions we have had. I've seen it sink now in terms of what Minister Montague is giving. And I don't know if you whisper in my ears or something like that, but c'est la vie. We used to do French here too at St. Mary's School, and that's only Spanish, you know. Oui. So, I want Minister to thank you very much. I want Colonel Price to thank you very much, and Ms. Williams to pass on those commendations and thanks to your managing director when you get back into Kingston. St. Mary High School, St. Mary, Jamaica will be better for this donation this afternoon. And as Member of Parliament, I'm very elated and happy to be part of this and to see what can arise as a consequence of this donation. Better drivers on the road, safer driving on the road, less fear on my part and many other persons on the road as we traverse the roads of our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Guy. This is what you call legacy. I'm going to ask you to put your hands together as we welcome Honorable Robert Montague, CD, MP, Minister of Transport and Mining, and the visionary person behind this action here today. Let's give him a hand.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, Ms. Merdina Collum. My colleague, Member of Parliament, Dr. Maurice Guy, the Principal, Mrs. Sadar, Colonel Daniel Price, Vice Principal, President of the PTA, teachers, students, past students, Spetrakin Dawes from the Transport Authority, Petrakin Williams from the Transport Authority, Miss Linton and Osborne from the Ministry of Transport and Mining, Mrs. Miranda, Miss Moulton, and Miss Pollock from my office, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. And let me also greet the listeners on Waves 96.3 that are listening to us, as well as the viewers on the GIS YouTube channel that are watching us as we are in this forum. Before I begin, I must also acknowledge Mr. Stanford Stewart, board member of the Transport Authority, and all the other members from the Transport Authority that is here with us. Dr. Guy, there's a special young man here who is celebrating his birthday today. Isaac Brown, big boy. Mr. Rajay Brown, stand up. Happy birthday, sir. Thank you. Eh? I won't tell you what Dr. Guy is whispering. But Mrs. Sadar, this idea of driver ed in schools actually came out of an advocacy from one of your staff members. In 2015, Mr. Nick Taylor was insistent at a meeting we were having, planning a little manifesto, and he was insistent that driver ed in schools must be a priority. And as a result of that, I actually bought a Toyota Corolla for Taki High School in 2015 to do driver ed. But then we ran into all different kinds of problems with insurance and liability and who's going to teach and if there's an accident and the security of the vehicle and all of that. And that vehicle is still attacking. And then Nick came back to us with the idea of a driving simulator. But Dr. Guy, only to discover that his nephew, Joshua Brady, had done some research in Florida and told him about the simulator. So when he came here full of bright ideas, and I have him idea alone. It was a family thing. And I must publicly commend you, Brother Taylor, for pushing through on this and that. I have taken the idea o'clock. You go to any bus stop between Portmore and Otrias, and you find hundreds of people standing up. Cannot get a taxi because the route is closed. We are now saying we're opening all routes, and we are allowing people to design their own routes. Because Jamaicans live everywhere. And if a person wants to run a route from Upper Oyo down to Gully Bottom, that's their business. That's not government business. And if it's not making a profit for him, it's his business to come out of it. So we are allowing people to design their own routes. We are developing new applications, and I believe next week we are launching the TravelPal application, which is a new app to help to protect, especially our women and students who have to take taxis at late hours. And a lot of them are kidnapped and robbed, and we are now putting a new weapon in their hands. It's an app on a smartphone that will give your location. You will, well, before you even get into the vehicle, you put in the vehicle's license number, and you will know if it is a registered taxi with a license, or if the license plate is stolen. And if you, once you go into the vehicle, it will trigger 2 phone numbers that you would have pre-put in to let them know you are in this vehicle and you are at that location, and your expected time of arrival at your point is that. So that if something goes wrong and you don't arrive, somebody is already monitoring your movement. And we are working with the police to get the panic button. We have everything ready. It's just to sign off on an MOU with the police to have a panic button that once you hit the button, the alarm will go straight to the nearest police unit that is close to where the phone is. We are moving to classify routes. It is not fair for a man who, like Brother Stewart, who runs on the Portmore to Otrias, making millions of dollars, to pay the same licensing fee, and the man that run from Highgate to Guysville that barely surviving. So we're classifying the routes, and Brother Stewart will pay more, and just because his name's Stewart, we have to pay more anyway. We are opening up the routes, so no more closed routes. We have instituted regional license approval. In the past, you apply for a road license, Dr. Guy, it has to go to Kingston, it has to wait until the board meet, and all of that. We are now instituting regional license, and I'm told Mr. Anderson that now it takes less than 3 days to get a license approved. So we have implemented that one. We have put trackers. We have insisted that trackers be placed on taxis. We had a lot of resistance initially, and then the taximen saw the value of it. Because there was a case where a man sold a car. The person who bought the car didn't transfer the car. There was a criminal incident in one part of the city of Kingston, Harborview, I think it was. And the man lived in Portmore. And when the police came for him, because it's his car, and you must know where your car is, he showed proof that he sold the car, and he bought a new car, and the new car that he had bought had on a tracker, and that it came home at the time he said he came home, and it never left because he was there. That was what was the witness, the third witness, that allowed him to prove his innocence. And since then, almost every taxi now have on a tracker. We are also moving to go cashless in our taxis. I know the drivers don't like it, but the owners love it. Right, Brother Stewart? Because the owners now get a chance to get the money before the driver. And my mother always tell me that if the man count the money before you, is not your business. He who counts the money first owns the business. So we're getting there. We are also establishing city taxis. We are insisting that our drivers and conductors subject themselves to a customer service course, because a lot of our people believe that service is servitude, and that is not so. I have I have had to take taxis many times. And the last time I took one going to the airport, the man driving, I called the taxi, he came. One of my cousins was going back, female, and he came, park, and just fly the trunk and sit down. No service. And she said, no, dismiss him. We called another company who came. Driver came with white gloves and tie. Stepped out, good afternoon, I am so-and-so, your driver, and let me help you with your bag. He charged almost 2 times what the other man was charging. But she said she was happy because of the service she was getting. And Mrs. Sadar, I must tell you that that company who provided that driver is from a company known as 876 Taxi on the Go. It is owned by a daughter of St. Mary, and Oliver Lindsay from Boscobel. We are insisting that if a person applies for a road license and you're a convicted rapist, pedophile, or charged with certain kinds of activities, you will not be issued with a road license in Jamaica. We have introduced a 4-year license because if a person approaches the bank for a loan, you can get a loan based on a 1-year license. You're not sure it's going to be renewed. So we are issuing 4-year license. And importantly, Dr. Guy, we are now going to be assigning a transport authority officer to every examination depot to issue a commercial license, the green plates. Today, if you apply for a green plate, Mr. Anderson, you have to go to the tax office, pay your money, you go to the depot, get the fitness, then you drive to Tower Isle and apply for the road license. When you get the paper there, you drive back to Port Maria to the tax office before you get it. We are cutting down the steps and we are putting a transport authority officer in the depot that at the same place you apply for the fitness is the same place you not only apply for the road license, but it is issued right there. With these days of technology, you don't have to go to the office can come to you. We have also insisted that if the Island Traffic Authority certifies a vehicle, the vehicle can qualify for a road license. In the past, if the vehicle never reached certain age, it couldn't get a road license. And we are saying in rural Jamaica that I represent and Dr. Guy represent, you have some places that is only one man going running taxi up there. And sometimes a little old car, but it's what the people have and it's what carrying them. So rather than carry people illegally, let us legalize it and make life easy and comfortable for people. And the 16th point is that we have passed a regulation that it is the responsibility of the owner of the road license to update the transport authority's database if there's any change to his circumstances. Many owners change their phone number, transport authority don't know. They sell the vehicle, they don't tell us. They change the color of the vehicle, they don't tell us. You now have 2 weeks in which to update the transport authority, otherwise it becomes an offense. So those are the 16 points, ladies and gentlemen. And as I am about to take my seat, I want to apologize, my colleague Dr. Guy and the other 61 members of the House. We had given a commitment that we would have laid the regulations to the Road Traffic Act, and that we would have also laid the amendments to the Transport Authority Act by yesterday, the last sitting of Parliament. Unfortunately, we were not able to do so because the technical teams were not complete. The Legislative Committee were reviewing the draft proposals, but they have assured us that tomorrow, they worked all day today as well, but tomorrow will be their last sitting. So on the first sitting in the new year, we will be able to lay the Road Traffic Act regulations and the amendments to the Transport Authority Act. The Ministry of Transport and Mining is also introducing a school train service. And on the instructions of the Most Honorable Prime Minister, we are moving to reintroduce train service as a part of our 60th anniversary legacy program. And Highgate has a station, and therefore we'll be looking to cost out on a phase basis how we reintroduce train service into Jamaica and to expand it into urban centers as well. Before I take my seat, Mr. Sadar, I know when I come to St. Mary High School, somebody asks me for something. So I make sure I walk with something before you ask me. So I've brought 4 tablets to give to 4 needy students, but I'm going to beg you one for Mr. Brown because it's his birthday. So, St. Mary High School will get 4 tablets, but Mr. Sadar will get 3, and Brother Brown will get 1. They are Amazon Fires, and it is to assist in the educational program. The simulator that we are handing over shortly, valued at some 5.7 million Jamaican dollars, it was designed and made by a Jamaican and constructed right here in Jamaica. Happy birthday, Mr. Brown. Hold on. Mind them fire me. So the driving simulator is to assist in a driving ed program at the school, and it was designed by a Jamaican, built right here in Jamaica, and I am always ready and willing to support Jamaican industry. And I want that fact sink in so that the students here can be inspired to design some kind of technology, and this minister and this government will be willing to invest in you. Thank you very much. Oh, the tablets to Mrs. Sadar? Normally I would invite the fellow MP, but I'm not inviting him this time. You hear what the member of parliament said? I give tablets, him give pill. Pills. That's what I said. Pills. Not pill.
Dr. Guy, it seems as if you have a lot of ill people here. You give pills? Oh. Blue pill. Oh, to the old, okay. They're to the old guys, Thank you, Minister. I was thinking while you were speaking that we need to revise your 16-point plan because it seems as if it has long exceeded 16 points. So we'll have to revise. Okay, we are well on our way. I'm going to ask the head girl of St. Mary High, Miss Ashana Douglas, to come and give the vote of thanks. Clap her in a man. Thanks.
Can this go down some lower? Excuse me, could you put it down some bit? Thank you. That's all. All right. Minister of Transports and Mining, the lovely Robert Montague, CD MP. Member of Parliament for this constituency, Central St. Mary, Dr. Maurice Guy. Director General of the Island Traffic Authority, Colonel Daniel Price. Acting Northern Regional Manager of the Transport Authority, Mr. Grover Latry. Master of Ceremonies, Miss Merdina Callum, pardon me. And of course, Madam Principal of the St. Mary High School, Mrs. Juliet Fraser Sadar, other distinguished members of this meeting, Good afternoon to you all. I would like to extend a great thank you to all persons that would have contributed to our possession of this driving simulator. We are deeply gratified. Being a female, I am most ecstatic as females are normally looked down on, considering that we are of this gender and are most often fearful when we are driving. Nonetheless, possession of this driving simulator will allow us to dismiss that stereotype because we too can be drivers. And so we want to thank everyone once more for all the contributions. We are truly grateful. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Ms. Douglas. We are going to, because of COVID conditions, we are going to have limited amount of persons going over to the library to view and tour the simulator. So I'm going to ask the head table, the PTA president, Mr. Sanford Stewart, Ms. Petrakeen Williams, and Mr. Ronald Anderson to Mrs. Sadar and the VP, the head table, and two students, the head girl and the head boy. Sorry about that, the head girl and the head boy. Mrs. Sadar will lead you, but before you go, and I'm going to give a little joke now. Yesterday, a colleague from another ministry called me to ask me why I was not at a particular function. So that the minister had, I told her I was not invited. However, she proceeded to tell me, you know, I'm always excited to go to Minister Montague's functions. You never leave hungry. I never had any breakfast this morning. There is always food. And she went on and on and on about the food. So for you who are left behind, we have a little something to feed you. You never come to Minister Montague's function without leaving with a belly full. Thank you all for coming, and thanks for the attention. We will now proceed to the library. Thanks again.
Ruben? Ruben? Linton? Miss Linton? Taj, where is Ruben? When I saw the camera, I think Ruben camera. All right, Al. After three, 1, 2, 3. This is the Mr. Play Jamaica. I hear that you can light me up partially. So put me some pictures on the screen, man. And Mr. Sadar going to go sit down in here. No, you have to adjust the seat there for me. Come, kids, come. You're not going to drive, we understand. We'll put the picture with it. Put your seatbelt, Mr. Sadar.
On your right.
Let's do what they can do. Sorry. Come up with the guys. Thank you. You sure you know?
I can adjust the
Seat wants to recline.
We can put yellow material.
Do we have to have the ribbon or anything on it?
And the address.
You can take out the ribbons.
Dr. Guy, bring them color ribbon.
This is
You can take out the ribbon.
Yeah, I take it off. I take it off.
Yeah, man, we know you're like glad to take it down.
No, man, you have to keep the material straight, flat on it.
Okay, all right. Hold on.
And what's the point on our eyes? The green something around it.
All right.
Around the headrest.
Remove it.
Yeah, man. Or take it out there, yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Guy carry it. Something wrong with the headrest, man. Why does it? Yes. Yeah, it look funny.
If you're going into us, no, it's a sit still. Come back again, because mom the very stuff.
Why not we turn around? It turns around. That look better.
Do I move it? Can I do something on the street?
Not right.
All right, cool.